Welcome, friends. We are back.
I know
Goddess
we've been
Chat. Here we are. Woo!
ah, we've been chatting for I don't know, like an hour already before we came on with you all, but
And
that's
now we are
okay.
here with you.
Yeah, yeah. How's everybody
Welcome, welcome,
doing?
welcome, Goddess friends. How are you today? We're just talking over one another. We're
Yeah.
already hyped up on our coffee. Into our Goddess Chat. I'm going to grab my shawl because I suddenly have become a little chilled. Um,
Ooh.
yeah. All right. So,
Well,
ah,
I know. Let's take a deep breath.
sigh it out. Yeah.
Oh, doesn't that feel so good? And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I've there have been some times this in the past few days over the weekend that I forgot to breathe.
Oh
I
no.
mean, well, no, I mean, yeah, I'm actually holding my breath
Yeah.
for whatever reason. And I have to remind myself, Paige, just breathe.
Breathe. Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Reset. It's it's all okay. And we're
Mm-hmm.
through whatever this is that we're going through in our 3D world, which is a lot. I mean, there's a lot of polarizing energy, and it's interesting that we picked the goddess Mot
Oh, we didn't
for.
pick her. She picked
Oh,
us.
she picked
Remember
us.
this, goddesses.
Well, that's
We
right.
have
That's right.
chosen.
That she chose us because we, everybody is looking for the truth right now. What's the truth in our political situation right now? And everybody has their version of the truth, right? And Mott is here to represent, she's not what we've discovered actually a goddess per se, but that she personifies uh, how, what, truth, justice, and
Justice,
balance.
balance.
Yeah. And that's, boy, oh boy, do we need that right now. And that the Egyptians chose her to personify that in their judges and their judicial system.
Mm-hmm.
They actually even wore an
Mm-hmm.
emblem of Mott to signify that they represented that balance and justice, and that they would their judgment would be fair. And
Mm-hmm.
boy, oh, we need little of that, a lot of that in our lives right now.
Well, and I would shift this even more towards, how is this mirroring for you, for your own life? What
True.
areas of your
Mm-hmm.
life are you experiencing the importance of um, standing in your truths and allowing truth to be, the pathway for you? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and recognizing that sometimes speaking our truth is not easy. So that's actually the point that I have been sitting with working with Mats is that I, when I began to step into my power, when I began to honor my truths within myself, whatever that may be, um, recognizing that beautiful dance and balance of when I need to assert my truth into words and when it's time for me to pause and just wait. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and honoring the pathway to that truth being always in divine order and time, right? We worked with last week with time, um,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's about that beautiful marriage of honoring the divine order, the divine time, and knowing
Mm-hmm.
that if you live in yourself from a place of authentic truth,
Mm-hmm.
that everything will unfold in divine order and time. And that's very hard sometimes, especially when we are feeling very impassioned about where we are standing in our truth. Having that patience, having that ability to pull back and invite Aaron Rod to help us understand timing.
Are we doing Aaron Rod or Mott?
We are, but I'm talking about how we worked with her last week.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's what we're inviting you all to do here, is to actually take all of these aspects of the divine goddess and apply them in divine order and time as you need them. So that's why I'm referring back to Aaron Rod, because we just talked about her last week. And when we are in a place of finding, honoring, living our truths, there's a fine balance between forcing something forward because it's our truth, or being patient and very yin, being in that divine feminine and trusting the divine flow and divine time. So I really do love the way that the universe and goddess is offering us these messages of the divine aspects, the divine feminine aspects, to explore as we're moving through our lives. And now that we're we're going to be a year into this very soon. Like, before we know it, we will have been with you all for a year. And I'm already seeing how these goddess chats have transformed, how our explorations each month have transformed, and how I'm beginning to understand the truth of my divine feminine more and more as these beautiful messages from the goddess filter in for us. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's important to understand that truth doesn't have to be aggressive. In fact, it's not meant to be, because the truth is it can't be, there may be a veil over it. Mm-hmm. But as long as you keep operating from your truth, the veil will thin and the messages will show themselves.
Yeah, and I think we also
divine order and time.
Order, exactly. And then I have to realize or remember that what is true for me may not be somebody else's truth. And I have to respect that as well. And it's funny that thank you for that reminder of the progression of these goddesses and these messages and how they intertwine and all of that, because sometimes I get hyper focused on, okay, this one message.
I'm on this one.
I'm on this one. Wait a minute. Don't get, and I have to look back and see the evolution of it. And of course, there are those goddesses and energies and stuff that align with my truth, maybe more than others.
Right.
I love those messages that, okay, maybe you need to pay a little extra attention to this one aspect of what's going on. And of course, I like to relate it to the energy of what's going on around me at that moment. And I was just looking at the alignment message in our guidebook, and it talks about she offers you the alignment task, considering where you may have hurt someone else and how your unconscious projection of how the world should be may have set you up for a transgression, even if you were innocent. So, you might say something to somebody according to like your truth, and like you were saying, you have to be mindful of how you're saying it, when you're saying it, what Does it need to be said?
And it doesn't mean that we're silenced. It means that we are using discernment, and recognizing my audience. I talk about this a lot in some of the work that I do with some of my clients. Is the practice of discernment is recognizing, will I be heard if I speak this truth to this person?
Oh, very good question.
And if the answer is no, then that is the answer to pause. And pausing is not muting. Pausing is honoring. It is honoring yourself. It is honoring the other person, because again, every person is carrying a spark of the divine within them. So we can look at their ego and we can attack their ego, or we can remember the truth. So we're talking about truth here. See, this is bringing me to tears, because this is so on point. Spirit is speaking so clearly to me right this moment. The truth is we are all divine. So even when we are traveling this path of love, it is important to remember that forcing our perspective will not be heard. So my truth is, I'm going to be a living example of my truth. And I'm not perfect. I'm human. But I do the best I can by living from that space in myself and trusting that whatever experience is coming to me is in my divine order, my highest good, and ultimately in the highest good of all around me.
Right. Oh, wow. What just occurred to me was my people pleasing that I used to practice a lot, that because maybe your truth, I wanted to honor your truth above mine, because it was important to me that everybody be happy, everybody, that, and I was the peacemaker, right? And I have learned, and thank you for that reminder, that just because people don't, their truth is different or will not be heard, then I don't have to change it. Just take pause and honor that which is in me and that which is in you, and that balance. Peace, justice.
And in all honesty, when I started living from that truth and I started abandoning that need to people please,
because I think
that is one of the things that you and I have in common that brought us into such a connection with one another, is we have this understanding of that behavior, right? But when I first started transitioning out of that codependent behavior, I felt very lonely, because even though I was honoring my truth, which was that I don't feel that this is the path for me anymore, I was really challenged to decide, is this worth it for me to stand in my truth and step away from things that are not working for me, and still feel the sadness of being lonely? And as hard as that felt like at the time, I reflect back now, and gratitude, so much gratitude for choosing to stay on path, choosing to honor that truth, choosing to continue to walk in the direction of my highest good. Because now the experiences and the relationships that I have surrounded myself with, or I have been gifted, or I have attracted, whatever words you feel like you want to use here, friends, I have so much abundance and equality in all of my relationships. And I recognize very clearly when something is not feeling in equality, and when it's feeling out of alignment, out of my truth. And I'm able to make a swifter move out of that than I used to.
Mm-hmm.
So know, friends, that if you are living at a place right now where you are feeling impassioned to live in a way that is unlike how you were living before, and the people around you are finding a lot of resistance to that, that's not a bad thing.
No.
And that if you continue to travel your path and honor your truth, your community is coming. Your soul family is waiting for you.
You are
You
not
just have
alone.
to trust in that. Exactly.
You are not alone.
So trust in that process. Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Well, spirit is definitely here right now. I feel very, I'm feeling a lot of high vibrations and a lot of emotions, and that's one of my indicators, my intuitive indicators that I am in presence with the divine, in channeling through these messages, because my heart just feels so. It's like I can breathe. There's this because I feel this love and this abundance of love. And I was just sharing with Paige before we got on here today that I was feeling a lack of inspiration, and I feel like Spirit saying, it's here. It's here. It's okay to take pause. It's okay to pull back. We talked about that. Take the pause. There's a lot of energy moving about in our world right now that is heavy. So taking a pause is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So just note that too, friends. If that's your truth, if you're feeling overstimulated and overwhelmed by the world, it's okay to pause.
Take the pause. That's right. And do something kind to yourself. And we honor all the many paths that you all are going. You're traveling, and we are with you and supporting you in whatever you're feeling. Please share. We are here for you. That's the reason we're here. Just to serve
to hold
you.
Space. Yep.
Exactly.
To be of service.
Exactly. Exactly.
So if you are looking for a time to commune with your community of like-minded goddesses, we will be gathering this evening at 7 p.m. for the new moon gathering. And if you'd like to register, we'll pop in that link into our feed here in just a moment so that you have access directly to it. We'd love to share this time with you in setting intention for the cycle that we're entering here.
Right. I call it moonifesting. Let's do some moonifesting.
Yeah. And each month we come together as a beautiful expression of our innate ability to create the world we want.
Exactly.
So
be the change you want to see in the world.
Yes, Goddess.
Yes, Goddess.
All right, friends. Well, thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your morning with us, and we hope that this message inspires you to step even further on your path of living and experiencing your truth, and trusting in the truth to always find its way into our vision.
Love and light to all of you.
Yes. Blessed be.
Bye.